Hey all. So I'm getting a lot of questions about the diet. I hate to use that word, the way I've been eating to heal autoimmune issues. And it's all really new to me because everything everybody told me about balanced diet, get fruit and vegetables. I did not feel well, and my numbers proved it. So, a lot of you, we've already shared that we've been doing carnivore for about 2 months now. I think I started on April 9th, is maybe it was the week after that. I'm not really sure, but um, and I was just wanting to feel better because I feel so exhausted all the time. But I feel like God's called me to so much more. So I really felt like I just wanted energy to do all the things. Well, so it's been about 2 months. I had my labs done about a week and a half ago. And just in those 2 months, I noticed a huge difference. So these labs right here, these are the important ones that I wrote down because these are the ones I've been tracking. Although I get like my hormones and I'll be 45 this year. So I've definitely had issues with hormones. So I make sure to keep those checked as well. There was an increase in my testosterone, which is great because that's our drive, that's our sex drive, our motivation. Women should have a good amount of testosterone, not high testosterone, but a solid amount. So mine was a 2, which is, um, I guess, decent in comparison to the chart that they gave me. But really, I wanted to pay attention to my A1C. Um, about 2015, when I was going through what felt like depression and anxiety, I kept going to my doctor and telling him, hey, I'm having these symptoms. I just don't feel well. And they didn't run any vitamin deficiency tests or anything like that on me. They basically told me they'll treat me for the anxiety and depression. I said, no, I don't want that. That's just a symptom. I want to find the root cause. And I didn't, I just got the runaround. They said all my labs were normal. Again, normal window is like this, but maybe your normal is right in here, which is still in their normal window. So maybe yours is here, but over the years it's moved over here, which is why you don't feel good, but it's still in their normal window. So they'll tell you nothing is wrong with you. It's basically in your head. And I get it. This is their training, but I live in this body. So I sought outside help and I ended up finding a naturopath in 2015, and she tested vitamin levels, progesterone to estrogen ratio, and basically was like, how are you standing? And I'm like, thank you. Like, I feel like someone understands me. So it's taught me to really pay attention to my numbers and not really go off of well, this is their normal window. It's how am I feeling living in this body and what can I do about it, and finding a doctor that's willing to work with me. So my A1C, as you can see here, I mean, it went from 5.3 to 5.4. And I kind of questioned because I was doing a 19-hour fast with this. And so I was questioning to see if that may be the reason why it was higher, but it's still relatively normal. I'd still like to see it a little bit lower. But again, I've only been doing this for about 2 months, and I'm seeing other numbers that are in my favor. So your glucose, mine went from 98 to 90, which is great. Again, this is probably 2003. 6 months later, 6 months later, 6 months later is I keep getting them tested because I do take thyroid medication and want to make sure. Now, the diet that I was eating before this, we would eat lots of beans, lots of veggies. I never was a fruit person. Fruit just does not sit well with me. And then eventually it was starting to get where vegetables weren't sitting well with me. Like I would eat a salad and I would put vinaigrette dressing on it that we made at home, and I would feel terrible. The scale would go up about 2 pounds, and I just did not feel well. So as much as people were telling me, sometimes you just have to listen to yourself and just know that, I'm not saying carnivore for life or anything like that. I'm just saying right now, this is what's making me feel better. This is what's actually getting me to a point where I feel like I have enough energy to do housework and go to work every day, like things that I felt drained to do on a daily basis. Anyways, so and then you have your fasting insulin. Mine was 11.9. It's now 8.3. Over here, this is leptin. So, from my understanding, the more leptin you have, the more satiated you feel, the less hungry you feel all the time. But if it gets too high, I guess that's an issue too, which I don't quite understand. Initially, it was 59 point something, and then it started to go down. But I was also eating less. I had a hard time getting 1,000 calories in because I was trying to make sure I got all my vegetables in, all my fiber in for the day. I would go up. My goal was anywhere between 25 to 35 and closer to 35 grams of fiber. I was following the Harry Pasternak. Um, he's a personal trainer and he focuses a lot on fiber. And so I was trying to do that. And so while it did drop that, once I stopped doing that and started doing carnivore, it jumped up to like 72. And I just don't feel hungry. Like I'll have a ribeye and some ground meat, and I was eating like twice a day and getting 1,500 calories, which is more than I was getting over here. And I would just feel satiated all throughout the day. I didn't even think about food because I wasn't hungry. Um, so I think that that's why that number is up. This one is my total cholesterol, which was 216. And it's down to 186 right now, which is within the normal level. Nobody really said anything about that. But now the triglycerides, they were high at 228. And I was really worried about doing carnivore and eating so much fatty meat. I mean, the ribeyes are amazing, but they have a lot of fat on them. And to see my number just jump down to 109 within a normal level just makes me wonder, do your triglycerides, is it about the fat or is it about the other things that maybe turn into sugar that cause it? Is it about the insulin? Well, from my understanding is insulin resistance can cause your triglycerides to go high. So if you are constantly, again, I was eating 3 to 5 meals a day, just like I was told to do, because you got to keep your metabolism going. But every time I would eat, my insulin spiked. And then I would eat again because that's what I was told to do. And my insulin would spike. And so it never got a chance to really come down. So then it's constant like glucose going, which is stored into glycogen, which my understanding the glycogen turns into triglycerides. And that's when we start having a lot of metabolic problems. So eating twice a day, about 1,500 calories a day is what has brought it down quite substantially just in a very few months. Then you have your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, which mine has always been relatively low, 41. It went up a little bit, and then now it's at 43. LDL, which is, I don't want to say your bad cholesterol because cholesterol is really important. I think it's very interesting how it used to be if your total cholesterol was over 300, that you were considered okay. But then they started creating statins and now they've lowered it 100 points. I just don't know what the research, from what I've seen, the research that statins are not that great for you. I don't know if I hate to be like this conspiracy person, but pharmaceuticals make a lot of money and doctors are the ones that prescribe the pharmaceuticals. So is there a correlation? I don't really know. I personally just want to focus on myself and not conspiracies, but something for you to research. Then you have TSH. Mine was on the 1.0, but I was taking a higher dosage of thyroid. And then it kind of just got weird. And then it kept creeping up. And then suddenly, with this change in my diet, like that's literally 2.58, the lowest it has ever been. And so my provider told me to stop taking the higher one. We went to a lower one. And I'm going to continue to see, but I feel like I don't struggle getting out of bed. I feel pretty good. Again, weight's not dropping, but it wasn't why I started it in the first place. Do I want it to go down? Absolutely. But do I just want to feel good? More so. Then we have FT3 is your free T3, so that's what's bioavailable to for your body to use. Total just says what's in your body, but not all of it's available to use, from my understanding. And that's pretty much stayed consistent at 2.7, going down to 2.6. My free T4 is pretty consistent. But here's the one. So these are TPO antibodies, and the highest that they've ever been has been greater than 900, but they tend to stay around 597, 370, 467. And this is with me eating a very basic, balanced diet. I'm getting my fiber in, I'm getting my vegetables, again, not huge on fruits, and leaner cuts of meat, because that's what is said, keep your fat down. Again, fat is not necessarily bad, especially when it comes from animal base, but it's not my forte. I'm just going to say it's been great for my body. And the way I've been eating has brought them down to 275. So I never really ate fruit, so that isn't something that I've eliminated, but vegetables and beans were huge. Those two things are things that I took out of my diet, and I would do some rice occasionally. But again, it always made me feel bloated. My feet would swell all the time, which is initially what made me start doing a lot of this, is because I would eat and within minutes my hands and feet would swell. I mean minutes. And I didn't understand what was going on. So I took everything out except for meat, and I actually added more fatty meat in. So a typical day will look like eggs and bacon, and I'll do sausage as long as sugar is not added to it. We do most of the stuff we get from the butcher. I probably do a ribeye every day. Sometimes I'll do two ribeyes in one day, but financially it's just not where we're at. So we try to stick with just one. I'll do ground beef, and I will do sour cream and cheese, but maybe that's why my numbers, I mean, it's at 275 from technically greater than 900, but from 597, so almost 600 down to 275, which means something is working. But is it not zero because I still have sour cream and cheese? I mean, that's something I'm going to have to mess around with. My taste buds have definitely changed. I don't crave sweets. That hit me like the first week. The first 2 days were hard, but if you ate enough fatty meat, you just weren't hungry. So it made me not even think about food, which is great because we normally planned our life around food, like what we were going to eat while we were out. And now Jared and I hardly ever eat past 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I'm trying not to eat before it gets dark, but because it's summer, it's dark until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, which I just don't want to eat that late so I can sleep well. I want to know that my food has digested so it doesn't interrupt my sleep. And the blood can go, instead of trying to digest food, it can go around repairing things that might be needing to heal in my body, because I think that's when our body repairs, according to research that I've done. But anyways, so again, it's ribeyes, ground meat, and we usually get the fattiest ground meat, hamburgers. I'll do pork chops, but usually I'll want something fatty to go with it, which will be like butter. I do still continue to do butter. Sour cream and cheese. We haven't been doing a lot of cheese just because it doesn't taste good to me anymore. But sour cream still tastes pretty bomb.com. I will use some hot sauce occasionally, and but I try not to do that because sometimes peppers make me feel a little ick. But other than that, I do like I will go to McDonald's and get 4 quarter-pound patties, and that'll be a lunch for me. If I order out any food, it'll be like egg and meat, no muffin or anything like that. So you can still eat out. It's pretty flexible. It's very easy to do. And we just really enjoyed it. I was so against it because I was like, that seems difficult. It doesn't seem like it's good for you. But honestly, I'm feeling pretty good after month 2, and I'm excited to see where I go from there. So I hope that helps out. If you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to share any more of my experience with you. Thanks. Bye.